So what is being expressed is, apparently, when the seeing that everything is an illusion, that everything is imaginary, that everything is as it is, and there's no more. So whatever seems to appear, hunger, pain, suffering, madness, gladness, whatever seems to appear is seen as the same illusion. Although there's no one seeing it. It's just seen as something that's occurring, that's not occurring at the same time. So the weight of what seems to happen, did you say happen? What seems to happen is just seen as an absence. And it's quite fascinating when this is seen because no one sees it. So it sees the imaginary and it sees everything as imaginary. So imaginary fear, imaginary confrontation, imaginary conflicts, imaginary happenings, imaginary whatever it is. Although it feels absolutely real, it's still imaginary. It's still an idea. It's still, it's a complete picture now. It's complete. It is real, but it is also not real. There's no more duality because there's no more trying to say, well, I should not feel that way. I should feel more empty than this. I should feel whatever appears is it is. So it could be jumping up and down. It could be sobbing. It is what it is. And there's no more kind of like this hierarchy of belief system that this is something that is desirable. So everything seems to flow because there's no more security check. It doesn't censor things anymore. It doesn't stop it at the border and say, oh, no, sorry, we have to check some more. It does not hold anything back. Everything just flows as itself, as wholeness, not as something that is, this should be wholeness and this is separation. Because separation and wholeness is seen as simultaneously appearing. The imaginary and the emptiness, the illusory and the empty is just appearing simultaneously. It's not a belief system. It's not about trying to like, this is better. It's just what is. So what is this radical acceptance, although no one accepts anything as it is. And I know this is repetitious, but what's being expressed is that the elephant in the room is that everything is the same. Everything is the same. No matter how different it is, everything is the same. Kind of like what I was talking earlier when it was mentioned that it seemed like the opposites when it's stretched all the way out. The far, 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 far left and the far, far, far right. Somehow it meets in between again. It's so radical that everything seems to stem from this emptiness. But even the illusory kind of like oppositeness is beginning to be the same, depending on who perceives it, depending if there's a who that perceives it. So when there's no longer a who, then the why drops. It's just what is. When there's no longer a who, the what, the why, the when, the where disappears. It's just what is. So what's being expressed here is that when there is freedom from this apparent acceptance or rejection, it's not about accepting it or not about rejecting it, because who's accepting and who's rejecting? Because this world does not exist. It doesn't exist. It's not real. So everything in this world is not real. It doesn't matter. Although it feels absolutely real and absolutely a felt sense of reality, kind of like what we said in the last meeting, what seems to feel absolutely real is also absent. Because real and not real are just words. True or false are just words. And words are just created silence, trying to capture this, trying to communicate this, trying to locate this. But when there is no longer any perception of a perceiver and perceiving, so when there's just seeing, not a seer and a seeing, there's no subject object because those are just words again. So there's just this, it's like when you open that curtain wide open on a nice summer day and you see the full picture. That's what's being expressed. Because emptiness, illusion, wholeness are the same. So there's a directness now in what's being expressed as something that has never been separated. There is just this silence in everything that's heard. There is stillness in everything that is felt. There is contentment in the ups and downs of what's happening. There's finally enoughness. There is this seeming kind of like going back and forth of what is not and what is wanted. And there's just this clarity that nothing is missing. What is missing here? Because that's always kind of like, like there's what is missing? Where's the next? Where's the before? Where's the after? There's no next, there's no after. It's just this. So when there's only this, and then everything that's outside of this is just this seeming contradiction of wholeness, meaning that there's this idea of something other than this, or I'm waiting for something to happen. When everything is already being presented as it is, when everything's already presented as it is, without any kind of we know when it's just as it is, period. It's just this is, period. It, period. That's it. There's always this stillness. It's not felt, but it's always here. It's not about getting it. It's always this. I'm trying to transmission this. It doesn't need to be transmitted. Because your whole view field, although there's no you, this whole seeing, this wholeness here is all that there is. When you walk outside of these doors and you see the wide open space, that's all that there is. When you go to your room, that's all that there is. When you walk towards the beach, that's all that there is. When you think about tomorrow, it's also in this. So there's nothing outside of this. But this is not limited to what you think this is. This is boundless. This is completely free. Anything can arise. So there's almost like a surprise element now. But there's no one surprised because it's not thinking about what is next. So that's why there's this freshness that seems to appear when there's this walking in a field like, wow. Because it's not caught up in this idea of what this is. Because there's no this in between the head. That's empty. So when there is this aliveness, it's walking out into the field. It sees the sun. It sees the leaves. It sees the openness. And it doesn't really leave anything for thoughts, doesn't it? Because when it's seen as fresh, when it's smacking you in the face of the eternal, infinite appearance of this, as the sun, as the moon, as this, as the one seeing, as the one being seen, as everything. Everything is all included in this seeing. It's all inclusive. Kind of like one of those luxury vacation thing that's all inclusive. Everything is included. Sit back, relax, although there's no you to relax. It's almost like a retirement of trying to figure this out. Because trying to figure this out misses this. Although the one is trying to figure it out is also this. So when there's a seeming relaxing, a seeming kind of like slowly sinking into the chair and just like, okay, it has always been this clear. But not what your idea of clear is. It's clarity without any thoughts. It's clarity with thoughts. Because for this thoughts or no thoughts to appear, there's always this clarity. There's always this simplicity of what is being expressed here is already full and complete. So it doesn't need anything. It's already done. It's already completed. And there's nothing. I just saw there's no seriousness anymore. I used to kind of like get super serious and try to hear every single word that's being expressed. But it's actually the spaces in between the words, the silence in between the words that is speaking to itself. So without the words, it's just this silence. Silence kind of like in unison, although it was never separated. It's like a reunion of silence. Silence was putting on a costume of words, and then it meets itself. Hello, silence, my old friend. That's what's being expressed here. It's that when there's this resonance, what's resonating is the silence hearing itself as silence. It's like this sameness. It's like this, there's something here that I can't figure out. It's almost like an intuition. You know what I'm talking about, right? This intuition, this intuitive kind of like thing that this is empty, but I can figure it out. So the one that's trying to figure it out is trying to figure out this emptiness, but this emptiness is already as it is. I talk too much, I think. If you if you have any questions, please go ahead. You're good? Okay. Okay. Huh? It's the best one yet. Always. If you have any questions, please go ahead.
Do you have to think all the time? Everything is nothing, or just
No, it just, yeah, everything is just automatic. So this doesn't go into default. Everything is nothing, nothing is everything. It doesn't maintain any of those anymore because there's no maintenance in what's appearing. The only reason that this is being spoken this way is because it is just being expressed in a clear, concise way. You know what I'm saying? There's no, when it's said that it's just what's happening, period, then it collapses the imagination. It's not like to be aware of the divine love and everything, connect to the heart and lengthen the spine and tuck the chin and connect to this eternity. It's none of that. That's what I used to do. It's beautiful. But it is also just a beautiful fantasy. There's no need to connect to what is already. There's no need to be aware of what is already. There's no need to even kind of like talk, you know, that this is nothing being everything, everything being nothing. It's just what is. Apparently lately this communication is getting a little bit more simple, and it's just basically, it's just as it is. Or this is it. It is this. It's just simple. It's just very simple because there's this, it's clearly obvious that it's always this. Even if it's just thought that this is always this, not as a mantra, not as an understanding, but it's always this understanding or misunderstanding. So the fluctuation of trying to get it almost kind of like, bails out because it's always this, because it's not trying to get to another this. It's not trying to get to a future this. So it instead of kind of like going to kind of like, a future fantasy, it's still is this. Oh, the chat is open.
Is the default. No stupid questions?
Anything, yeah. Or silence is okay too. It's the same thing.
I answered my own question in a way. I don't know if it's right or wrong. Like when I was saying, do you have to concentrate on like everything is nothing, nothing, or it's just gonna store the moment it's gonna come? It's like, is it like when you're trying to think of a word or somebody's name you can't remember?
Yeah.
And 4 o'clock in the morning, just like that, it comes to you.
Yeah. Isn't that beautiful and strange sometimes? It's like,
You're not even thinking about it.
yeah.
And it just comes to you just like that. So I think this thing is going to be the same way.
It is.
You're not thinking, it's just going to happen.
Well, it doesn't even happen, right? Because thinking that it will happen or it will not happen is just a thinking. So it's a sneaky kind of like almost like a surprise, right? It's always there, but if you notice there, it seems to be not it. Because it doesn't have to be noticed to be it, because the noticing creates this subject object of something noticing it. So when the subject object collapses, meaning that it's always it, no matter what it is, it's always it. It appears as whatever it appears as, like a surprise. You're like, it's like, again, kind of like looking for your glasses on top of your head, and all of a sudden it falls to your nose. You're like, oh, here it is. Or for example, you've been looking for something that has been in the same spot all this time. Like like one time I remember, I think it was my brother, was like, he really loves his stuff. So he was like, he's very organized and everything, and and he always accuses this character of borrowing his stuff, when you have three brothers. And he was like looking, goes, Emerson, are you wearing my stuff again? I'm like, no, I did not. And he goes, I'm sure you have it. And he goes, I can't find it. And of course, we looked for it. And I'm like, it's always been there. And he just looked in disbelief. And it's like, sorry for accusing you of taking it, that kind of thing, right? Because there's this narrative of what it is, but it's always this. So it's not looking for something that is hidden, because it appears in everything. It's kind of like there is a play of hide and seek, but the hide and seek cannot hide itself, because what's hiding and what's seeking is the same thing. What's that? Oh, the tea. You're such a mummy. Thank you, mommy. I just get caught up in the speaking about nothing. This really good tea. What is it again? It's a spiced.
It's cinnamon and green cardamom and black cardamom and clove.
Wow.
Chai.
Chai. See the energy. Just Forrest might Just, yeah, I think first is coming soon. I hope he finds it because he's taking the bus. Go bus.
No, but from the go bus, how's it?
Oh, I don't know.
Ways away, but that's far away.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Even the bus stops outside, it's a long walk.
Okay.
I don't know where to communicate with them now, but I could pick them up.
Can you see? Want to see the people? A lot of them are behind their screen. It's late in Europe too.
Late.
Yeah. And the Aussie, I think Richard and Ileana are from, Ileana is from New Zealand and Richard is from Brisbane, right? Yes. So what time is it in Brisbane?
It's 7:30. Yeah, 7:30 in the morning.
Wow.
Tomorrow morning.
Wow. How about you, Ileana?
Oh, you're on mute, you know.
10 o'clock. Who wants to come to Brisbane with me in New Zealand? Want to come? It's expensive. Yeah.
10:30 here, Emerson. Sorry,
Oh, wow.
I'm working while I'm listening.
Nice.
Ask everybody, why are you so quiet?
It's similar to the last time I did. Actually, no, that's not true. When I did a live in Carla's house, it was back and forth, right? You know, yeah. Maybe tomorrow.
Tomorrow you will have a lot of questions.
Probably. It's the same thing. It's the tea making it more enlightened, right?
Making you what?
I'm just joking.
Making you more enlightened.
Oh, like you are already.
See how the energetic?
I had 3 cups today, so
Jokes.
usually I don't.
We're gonna send you home with a little care package of all the mixture.
Oh,
You get the ground one in the stores, but I put whole.
yeah. That's why it's boom. We're talking about tea here.
It's not just regular chai, it's radical chai.
This is specially designed for you. I
Oh,
never
wow.
made it like this before.
Oh, wow.
First time I just randomly made it and you like it, those became a pattern now.
It's called Emerson tea.
Emerson tea.
Nice.
You know, first time I forgot your name, I called you Williamson.
Williams.
So every time I listen to your videos,
Don't worry, I forgot your name and I just call you mommy.
Sue. Yeah, you can call
Yeah.
me Mom.
I know now, yeah, but Vic is in a good place. Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yes.
So I've never had a glimpse, or is there any value to glimpses? Like,
It's actually often been said that a glimpse is the greatest curse because there is a point of comparison to what is. So what usually happens in the glimpses, and this is just another story, is that what is the glimpse is actually the temporary you, the conceptual you. You glimpse in and out, and what is appearing as this. So it sees, so it bleeps out this concept of you, and it sees this emptiness, but not as emptiness as something kind of like as an idea. It's devoid of any idea. It's just what is. It's just this appearance and also the disappearance happening simultaneously. Um, and it's not about a so a glimpse is just another illusion. It becomes a dangling carrot sometimes because it becomes this addictive um, idea of getting something that is permanent. So glimpse is just a temporal expression of what is. It's seen as what is, but no one really sees it. So it's the absence of what thoughts are or whatever. So there's this relaxation seemingly. I used to be a collector of glimpses, so I would try to kind of like go to different like a glimpse kind of like addict at one point, right? Because it was just this, so it tries to kind of like zap out and everything. So there's this persistent, but there's really no value in it. There's really no value in it. No matter how many glimpses I got, no matter how many perception I think that was just shifted, it was still a dream. It was still a dream. So when there is this apparent dropping away of something that was never there in the first place, the glimpses seem like just holes in the story.
how can you say it was never there? Like, if it's like it's an appearance, right?
Yeah. So everything is seen like a nighttime dream, although that's another concept, right? Everything prior, because there's no prior and there's nothing that is. So it's seen as a happening and non-happening, and it can't really be explained because it's not really, the experiencer is gone. So the one that previously experienced everything is the absent one. For example, if there is this obviousness that there was someone there real, the obviousness is the one that is bleeped out. The obviousness now is that there is no one here. This is just an appearance. So the no one or someone is just an appearance seemingly appearing in this right now, in this appearance. So someone or no one is the same nothingness. So there's no more separation of there's someone that dropped away, or there's someone or there's no one that dropped away. Everything is just seen as this narrative of something that is happening and not happening. You good? Okay. Okay. This is the best tea ever. Sorry, I just have to message Forrest. Sorry, guys, just a second. Oh, Jack's not coming? Oh. Oh, no worries. He just finished his exam, right? So yeah. No worries. We'll see him next week or tomorrow. We'll see. This reminds me of spiritual teaching. I'm in a lotus position.
You're only half lotus.
I
Go full
know.
lotus.
Well, not necessary. That was just torture. I used to be able to do it though. Yeah. It's easy. It's not that, if you're Asian. It's true.
I got a question.
Sure.
So like the Bugs Bunny, where like Roadrunner, he goes off the cliff and then he keeps running and then he just falls.
Yeah.
So is that like the life of every seeker? Is like they're running, and then they go off a cliff and then they're gone. Like it's just that's the end of like that's how every seeker ends, basically.
Well, there's really no seeker.
Okay.
It's an animated character, just like Bugs Bunny.
Like they just disappear.
Well,
They're never. But I don't understand this never there thing. It doesn't like it.
okay. Let's talk about that then.
Yeah.
So what is being expressed is that there is this idea that there's someone here, and then after apparent liberation, then it becomes there's no one here. So both ideas of someone here and no one here are both illusion. Okay, because there's no one here that needs to, if there's no one here, then how can it move from someone to no one? What's being expressed, it's always nothing. You get it? Okay, so when it's expressed that it's always been this way, it means that there's never been anyone here. There was this illusion of someone there, this felt sense of reality that I am, I am a character, I'm a person, I'm a brother, I'm funny, all that kind of stuff, all this identity and everything like that, right? So it's just this felt sense. You don't question it at all. You don't question the reality at all. So when the reality disappears, the reality of you also disappears, meaning that there's no reality. So reality as you know it has never been true. So if you look back, it's kind of like a plot twist at the end of the movie, right? You're kind of like, what do you mean there's no one here? What do you mean this is a movie? What do you mean this is a character? It's a flip. All of a sudden, the whole movie, you're thinking that, there's someone here kind of like moving. And at the end of the apparent movie, there's a plot twist that the character is basically revealed as nothing. It's a costume. It's empty. So that whole movie didn't really matter now because there was never there anyone in the first place. It was just an illusion. Still no?
So is it like an optical illusion where like say like there's it looks like there's a circle there, for example, and there's no circle there.
Something like that. Yeah. Or kind of like a box that looks like a box, but it's actually
Like,
not a
they
box.
go like this and it's like, oh, it's nothing.
It's nothing. Yeah.
As you say, it's like a dream.
What's that?
As you say, it's like a nighttime dream.
It's like a nighttime dream, or
Fabrication or
it's a fabrication. It's like a mirage.
yeah.
Like, for example, when you go to sleep at night, that idea of Michael collapses completely. It's a fabrication. And then when you wake up in the morning, it rises up again. Michael has to do this, and that. And then somebody will say, hey, Michael, what's up?
I'm doing good.
So the one that's asking, how are you doing and everything is your perception of reality. So everything that you perceive in reality is just a mirage. It's an appearance. It's just an arising. all your feelings, all of your thoughts. Kind of like what I was saying. This is always blackout. This is always a permanent blackout. So there's movement. It's kind of like, you think that you're doing something, but the narrative, the body is just moving by itself. It seems to be moving through time and space. It's doing things automatically. There's no free will or choice. And then there is this illusion that I am doing shit, that I'm choosing to do this. Yeah. Emerson, what is the difference between a glimpse and a dropping away? Is the only difference that the glimpse is temporary, or during the glimpse there is still an apparent someone not far? All of this is an illusion. It's just a story, but let's just go to story mode. So a seeming glimpse is kind of like when you're sleeping and then someone turns on the light and then you open up your eyes and you see that it's just, you're blinded, kind of like, oh, wow. And then you go back to sleep. The dropping away is seeing that there was no one sleeping and no one needs to wake up. So it cannot be unseen. So the glimpse is this temporal idea of what is. It's kind of like, and then thinks about like, what did happen there? I had a glimpse or something, or someone bleeped out. And then they will say that, oh, you know what? There was this emptiness. I was riding a white green dragon, that kind of thing, whatever that is, right? There's just this spaciousness. Then it becomes a story. So the glimpse, what is glimpsed at is, or what bleeps out, or what seems to disappear, is the idea of who you are. So it's a shut eye seemingly, but it sees everything. So there is this illusion of a separate individual moving through time and space that has free will and choice. When that collapses, there's just this kind of like, what's going on? It's almost kind of like what you're doing there, Vic. You're like, what is going on? What is happening? And it's just the undeniability that it can't be figured out. The undeniability that it's just what is. So during the glimpses, there's still an apparent someone. There's never been anyone. The glimpse, or the one that's temporary, is the character. So you're the one that's going to glimpse. You're going to collapse and then see this. Emerson, I can share an illusory story about the last man's question. Oh, yeah, please go ahead, Casey. Where are you,
Hello.
Casey? Hello.
Hi.
Casey,
Hi.
I'm going to share clips. Go for it, Casey.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So yeah, just about the glimpse. This is all a story, and this is an illusion and all that. Of course, this is just the glimpse that I had. One of them was I drank too much, and then there was a blackout. But this blackout wasn't complete. It was like there were still movements. Apparently, I paid money and got home, and I called Emerson. I called Emerson like in blackout, apparently. But there's just this like, wow, no way. This is all just happening by itself. And that's kind of what the glimpse felt like. And then the next morning was like, what the fuck was that? What was that glimpse? How much do I need to drink again to get that?
It's not necessary because this is already it.
It's not necessary.
But that's also it. But that's also it.
And that's what I was wanting to share, is that when I woke up in the morning, it was like, what the fuck? What happened? Where was my glimpse? And it's what Emerson was saying. That is still the glimpse. That you just think there's someone that woke up this time. It's beautiful, and that's it. Yeah.
We're going to be inducing some bleeps tonight. I'm just joking.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Please forgive. Yes.
No, that was great, Casey. That was great. Thank you so much. Thank you. It's much ado about nothing, really, because the glimpse is just another kind of like measurement. So what's being expressed is immeasurable. It's this openness, and it's just another narrative because nothing really happens. It's already complete. So when there is this, this is like a hammering. It's almost like a whistle blowing that, hey, this is it already. You don't need a glimpse to see this because this is it already. This is already completely as it is. And that's what's being expressed here. And it's just so simple and so obvious that it doesn't need you because it's obvious. Which Go Bus station is close here?
It probably runs off of Highway 70 or somewhere.
No worries.
Hopefully figured this out, like how he's, if not, I can pick him up, but I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a go bus, and then there's a local one we picked up or something.
Probably, that'll be.
Go and mute, Emerson.
Oh, thank you. What was the question again?
So, so yeah, is there any sort of relaxation that happens in the body, like the sort of contracted energy, the contracted feeling can kind of like relax, like, or is that sort of
Everything is a story, but there's just a seeming kind of like, like a, yeah, like a seeming kind of like softness, right? Because there's this, when I usually talk to someone, I can usually tell when their shoulder is really, really high up. And then when there is a seeming kind of like, openness from the contracting, there seems to be kind of like a relaxing of the shoulders. It's almost, there's a lot of held on to belief system, or kind of like what you were saying, you were afraid that you're going to die today when you came in here. There's like this. So sometimes it's even like, and it's, and again, this is just a story. This is not something that needs to be kind of like believed or held on to. Sometimes it is like this. Sometimes it's like a snail slow motion, that there's just an unraveling or a dropping away of ideas. There are some speakers that have seemingly kind of like just, and everything is a story because no one really drops away. But there's also some characters that sweet time. It's like Vic had that, that brrr, but there's no hurry, you know what I'm saying? to drop away. It's just whatever. It just appears a whatever. There is this, sometimes the seeking is just done like that. Or sometimes there's a love in listening to this, even if there was no more seeking energy. It just becomes music. It just becomes whatever. Usually when there's a lot of conceptual ideas of what this is or an expectation, it's not really prohibits or anything like that. It delays it seemingly because it keeps on waiting for the next bus. It's already in the bus. But it can like, where's the bus? Did I miss it? Did it come yet? But it's already in the bus. So to speak. It's already this apparent what is being expressed is a moving stillness. It's not a destination. It appears as it is, whatever. It's like morphing into whatever. Remember when they had that morphing thing in the 1990s? The first Michael Jackson video? It's like what is. I don't know if you remember that. Black. Okay, you're too young. You remember that, right, Vic? Okay, yeah.
Where he like morphs into like they have
Something in
different
the mirror?
faces and they just people's face just keep changing one on top of the other.
Yeah.
I think I've seen that.
Yeah. You're like probably 2.
No, I've seen the video.
In the story lately, it's kind of funny. A lot of people that have been booking one-on-ones are younger, like like in their 20s. It's kind of like I'm like, how did you hear?
This is unfortunately the first thing they run into, some of them.
Yeah.
The first spiritual thing they run into.
Oh no. So it's some of them are kids of like spiritual,
Okay.
like yogi parents or and then they're already can like they already know about spirituality or non-duality. This is not a cause and effect, right? So sometimes it's a hindrance when there's too much spiritual baggage, right? Because it's waiting for that spiritual candy, kundalini. So Forrest is coming by car now. Yeah. Mommy's tired. No, you're not. You stayed up all this long, huh? Wow. Enjoy it. That's good. Yeah. What's that?
It's if she was tired, she'd be sleeping. But
Yeah, that's right. It's funny because a lot of apparent characters uses this video as ASMR, like they put it on to fall asleep.
that's what she does.
That's what you do, right? Oh, wow.
Yeah, all the time. Oh, you non-duality melatonin. Here we go.
Melatonin, yeah. Should we have a dancing part tomorrow? Yes, for that, Michael.
What's your favorite type of music?
It's a lot. It's
Yeah.
um I was say when I was a little kid, I was raised, and this is a story, in a record store. So I was babysat at my grandfather's record store. So the first music that I loved was Stevie Wonder's Superstition. So I liked funk and then jazz and then everything. I like bass house. I even like heavy metal and death metal. And for some odd reason, country music, classical, opera. What else? I do, yeah. I do. I do like rap, yeah. Even mumble rap, I like. I do. There's just fascination with music, it's beautiful. I used to hate country, but I love some of the older countries now, like the Tammy Wynette, the Johnny Cash, beautiful songs. I used to listen to nothing but spiritual music. At one point. Sadvik music. Yeah. I can't even keep. Sadvik music is vegan music. It's only sitar. It has a lot of chants, Om Namah Shivaya, Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah. I must have chanted Om Namah Shivaya like a million times, a billion times. Yeah. Yeah. But there's no more mantra right now. But humans were. What do you like? What music do you like? What kind of hip hop? Old school, mainstream.
So mainstream.
So mainstream.
Yeah.
Okay. Like, who's your favorite artist? Drake.
No, not that mainstream. There's certain songs I like. Like I can't listen to a whole album of the same
Yeah.
artist. One artist I really like. She's kind of new. It's Doja Cat.
I love Doja Cat.
love Doja Cat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the funny thing is she grew up in an ashram,
Oh,
singing,
really?
singing bhajans.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, her
I
mother,
really like Doja
her
Cat.
mother was a hippie.
Yeah.
She grew up singing bhajans in an ashram,
Oh wow.
and as we lived there, I was surprised.
She's really, really talented.
Yeah.
Super talented.
1969 when I came here was hippie era.
Oh wow. You came here the Beatles time. Wow. I was not born quite yet.
Post Malone.
Post Malone's cool. Yeah.
Like probably a lot of the stuff you play at a club when you
When I
you
DJ?
go to- yeah.
Yeah, I try to avoid mainstream DJing now. So I like the underground a little bit. Plus the scheduling is kind of funny, right? Because you when you DJ at underground club, you start at 7 o'clock in the morning. and it's just the best time to DJ. Everybody's been partying the whole night and you come in there fresh, you're like 7 a.m. Yeah. And everybody's gonna like have this kind of like half look, like, how are you doing? But there is almost this is just a story. There's almost kind of like no more identity. So the music sways them. It's just the body moving to music because they're almost blacked out.
You said that before.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. You go to like an underground club and And there is it's funny because I used to go there when I was way, way younger. Now there's just an acceptance of it. Then there was a time that I judged it, right? Because I was like, oh, I don't know if you remember, anyone remembers a club called Comfort Zone. Do you remember Comfort Zone? Do you remember that? Yeah. That was massive before. And it was dangerous a little bit, right? Because it was somehow that never got raided by the police. Yeah. And so there's just this aliveness and freshness when you wake up at 5 o'clock, you go for a run, and then you can like have a DJ gig at 7 a.m. It's the best. And you're done at like 11 and you go for lunch. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. And then there's just this connection in this in the music, right? Because everybody has been dancing for 7 hours already. And they're almost just like zombies swaying to music. But I do like once in a while mainstream. I like DJing for little kids. So good. My first DJ gig here when I came back to Ontario was my one of my best friends, my best friend's kid. And it was like a neon party. So everyone is dressed in neon, and it was nice. Oh, that's all right, Casey. You can curse. There's no one cursing anyway. It's just what is. I just got your text. Going to throw some bars here. Oh, that was great, Casey. When I was younger, though, I was into Nas. I was into Elmatic. That was my favorite album. You don't know who that is? You know Nas, right? Classic. Classic. NWA, yeah. EPMD. Yeah.
Used to have breakdancing competitions at Chinguzi Park there in Mansion.
I was at Humber College and for a breakdancing competition, and then I did what did I do? I landed on my knee and I had a meniscus tear, so it's like battling it out in a breakdance, and then the meniscus tear, and I kind of like walked, kind of like I knew that it was torn, so I had this walk of shame, and everyone was laughing at me because I was trying to. I know. So when you're young, you're battling. You're kind of like you're kind of like doing this kind of like hip hop move, and then you fail miserably. And I still have that. It's kind of like it keeps on coming back, because when you have that, it's almost like a repeat. You have probably need to get a surgery from that. Yeah. So it's the walk of shame. That's why I started listening to grunge after that. Did you wear those pants, Vic, that were kind of like that were like baggy? The house pants, the housers, yeah. The zipper or the cloth, like a little, yeah. Yeah. The next year after that was the rave days. It became raver pants. Yeah. Tomorrow we have Kelsey, which is the non-duality whisperer. I love her. Do you know who she is? Okay.
Yes, good question.
She does. She does. Yeah. The last meeting that we had, she attended Rage Against the Machine concert. And then she had this giant glimpse, right? Basically, I told her that when you see the concert, there's no one there. There's no one there. And it's so trippy because there's this arena, what I'm saying, with like thousands of people. And then when it's seen that it's just this music playing, it's just this appearance of this, it's just this wholeness. Or I was talking to someone, I'm not sure if he's here. He plays in an orchestra, like in a big symphony thing in Brazil. And he plays the flute. And I'm like, oh, that must be so awesome. Just this, this orchestra playing and there's no one playing. And then we talked and he goes, yes, there was no one playing. So you see like a full orchestra with people kind of like playing the flute, the bass and everything. It's just wholeness. There's an appearance that there is a 20-piece, 30-piece, 40-piece orchestra, but it's just what is appearing as this. And when you see a lot of musicians play, there is just this emptiness. There's just this connection to the music. I don't know. Do you play music at all? So there's just this, it's the same thing as DJing, right? When you're DJing, usually what happens is that there is this, you put on a couple of tracks and everything, and then 10 minutes, 12 minutes into 15 minutes, if you're really good, 10 minutes, all of a sudden the room fills up and there's no more separation from the dancing and the DJ and the music. It's just wholeness. And there's no one playing anymore. I used to get irritated when people kind of like would request, like, can you play 50 Cent? Like, I'm like, but now there's just what is. Because that's also emptiness, requesting 50 Cent. 50 Cent is emptiness. In the club is emptiness. There was what I was DJing at Little Italy before, and I was kind of like, I was so happy. I was feeling really classy, and I was DJing down tempo. During that time back in the 2000s, the noughties, the down tempo was the the classy venue in Little Italy. And when someone would request something like 50 Cent or something, I would just throw into a fit. I'm like, I'm a down tempo DJ. There's a rejection of what is. Mommy's like, he's too wild. Hello, iPhone.
Hiya, mate. All right. How are
Oh,
you?
hey, mate. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. You. Can you talk a bit about feeling down and being depressed because England just
Yeah.
lost in the World Cup and I feel
Oh,
quite depressed.
yes.
So can you talk a bit
Oh,
about that?
no.
It's Kane, by the way. If you don't know who it is,
I know who it is. I was just
you could
talking
tell
to
by
you.
my voice.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I said I bet you could tell by my voice that it was me. Yeah.
There's this collective, what is a better persistent reality when there's a collective, a room full of people in a stadium rooting for the UK team, the London team, and they fail. So there's this collective letdown or collective win. So the collective appearance of something that is not real, like a team winning. I remember when the the Blue Jays, you know what I'm saying? Or remember that when they had a three-peat? If you don't remember, that when there was a three-peat, there's this collective, but there's also collective depression of what seems to appear, because what seems to unite, what seems to unite this illusion is the focus on a significant event. A significant event could be a sports event, and it's just this persistent. It's really like a well-played illusion, because here is a stadium, kind of like what I was saying earlier. Here's a stadium full of apparent people, but there's only one in that stadium, and that only one, the one that's perceiving all of this stadium, is not even there. So the illusion runs deep, so to speak. It's just nothing. So what's being expressed there is that there's really no collective. It's just an appearance of a collective hallucination, or it appears like that, but there's only one that is hallucinating. And the one that's hallucinating is the one that's listening to this.
Mm.
And there's not even anyone that's listening to this. That's the boom. There's an appearance of, subject, object, a loss, a defeat, a here and there, but there is no one that is. It's just it. Simple. Obvious. Illusion. Appearing as a team losing, a room full of people appearing to cheer or cry, depending on which team that they're doing. The apparent division of, a team celebrating the win, the other team lamenting the loss, the opposition of the fans that the team won, and then the opposition or the other part of the, it's just all this separateness. And then it goes into this kind of like, it's kind of like one of those kind of like shots in a movie, and it goes into one singular person that's seeing all of this, seeing the separation of the win or loss, seeing the separation between the team. And if you go further, what that singular character that's listening and watching this, that there's nothing behind that too. So it's all illusions all the way down.
Can you talk
Kinda
about
like when
apparent
they-
time healing the body, Emerson?
What's that, sorry?
Can you talk about apparent time healing the body? Because it feels like now I feel like really down, but I know like apparent
Yes.
time will make me feel better. So in a week's time, I'll feel better than what I do now.
Yes,
Like even
yes.
though time's an illusion. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, for sure. So this felt sense realness of, for example, if somebody, there's this intensity, for example, you just saw them lost, and then there's this defeat. That feeling is going to be this real. It's just that's just going to be it. There's this directness, this full on kind of like we lost kind of thing. But what seems to appear in this, although there's no other this, is passing. It's not permanent. It seems to appear as something very drastic, something very, very massive. But what seems to be unshakable, this feeling of like, oh, I'm feeling depressed, man. I'm feeling a loss. That vanishes at night. And then apparently there's no next day. And apparently the next day, what seems to happen is that, that it disappears. Kind of like, I don't know if you've ever dated someone and her perfume or his cologne reminds you of that relationship. 10 years later, when you get a whiff of that, there might be kind of like a feeling, but it's an empty feeling. Or a song, for example, if you hear a song, I don't know if you've ever held on to a song that you held on to as a kid, or or in whatever. When that song is heard again, it doesn't have that sameness. So whatever seems to be appearing, kind of like what was mentioned before, when it's sadness happening, it's full-on sadness happening. When there's happiness, just happiness happening. When there's a loss and defeat, that's also what's happening. But what's happening also passes. It passes and disappears. So it's almost like every happening is dead on arrival. It's dead already. It's gone already. For example, if there is this a glimpse, for example, you can like, the moment the glimpse happens, it didn't happen already. The moment that grief happens, it undoes itself right away. But the narrative of holding on to that grief or holding on to that bliss or that glimpse is what maintains the suffering. Either maintains the suffering, maintains kind of like gets caught up in the grieving, or avoids it. Same suffering. Wanting a glimpse, or kind of like, or finding the next glimpse is trying to kind of like, so what this is always this, and what is suffering or what is seeking is looking for the next this. It's kind of like, this is going to sound really bad. The drugs are already here, but you're looking for a dealer. You're looking for your next fix. It's already this. So the emptiness, the illumination, the radiance is always this, but not what is thought of as what radiance, illumination, or emptiness, or whatever seems to be the word that you use in trying to describe this. So this is already the MP infiniteness, whatever you call it. So looking for, wishing for the next, looking for the glimpse is waiting for the next bus when you're already in the bus. Or when there's grieving, when there's this process or depression that seems to be happening, there seems to be a wanting to get off the bus. You can't get off the bus. Try to get off the bus of something that is already happening. Just causes more distress. Does that answer your question there, Kane? But yeah, grieving, happiness, everything that is passing is an illusion. What seems to be happening is also not happening.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, mate.
Thank
Cheers,
you.
Emerson.
Thank you, mate. You don't have to.
So there's situations where I feel like I need to do something about this.
Yeah.
I'm responsible. I need to do something about this. I need to change this. I need, like, does that have any like bearing? Like, it's just.
So when there is a seeking for something, you know what I'm saying, that it's like it comes from this place of how do I be worthy of this? It becomes from a place of lack. How do I get there? What do I have to do? What do I have to, do I have to do practices? Do I have, it's when it's being expressed that everything is already as it is, there is, well, how do I get to as it is? They're seemingly like, how it's already here. It's already this. The thinking that there's something to do or something to do, or what, how do I become worthy of this, is what obscures this, is what hides it. Because rather than seeing that this is already as it is and there's nothing needed here, then you're like, well, this must not be it then. So it's almost kind of like it's almost like it's doing a what do you call that word? It's negotiating with this. If I do this, will I get this? This is non-negotiable. What is appearing is non-negotiable. It is what it is. Take it or leave it. It is what it is. And if it basically says that this is not enough, you know what I'm saying? Then it waits for the next this when it's substantial. But it's always this. This is not measurable, or this is always what it is. So this can appear as like hooray. This can appear as it's really boring, really nothing happening. It's always what it is. But since what is appears as whatever seems to be presented, you can't choose what is depending on what you like.
Can you say anything about like someone who, it feels like there's someone who has to bear what's happening?
Yeah.
Can you say anything about that?
That's just another maintenance of the illusion that someone has to bear what's happening. Right? That's just another kind of like everything in this illusion is to maintain that this is reality. So any
That's just
excuse.
part of the illusion.
Wow.
Like I have to bear. That's just part of its function.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It is also, but that's also emptiness. So it's okay. Let's just clarify this. Illusion and emptiness are the same. So what's appearing as an illusion of someone is also emptiness appearing as separation. So if you really just kind of like directly look at this, it's always emptiness. It's always this. It's never not this. That's a good one. It's never not this. It's always this. No matter what this seems to look like, if it's desirable or non-desirable, it's just this.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. For who though? Yeah. It's looking for something, and it's so easy to get caught up, you know what I'm saying, in fantasy of what this should be, because there's plenty of stories about, this holy this and everything, but that maintains the separation. It's almost like no one wants this because it's just very ordinary. But it's also the release of the imaginary this. So there's content, there's just quiet contentment. There's just like, I guess that's why there's relaxation, right? Because it's longing for something that, like, there's this idea that, I'm just waiting for my death, Emerson. You know what I'm saying? I came all the way here. Please let's just make it happen. But what's being expressed here, that this is already death. You just don't like the way that death looks like to you right now. You want the whole funeral march, the crying, the no, I can't. The fireworks at your funeral, the dancing, the trumpets and the announcement that Michael is finally dead. But that's
100%.
yeah. So it's longing for something that is a fantasy, right? This is already death, and death doesn't look like appealing right now because
It wants to see the end.
yeah, but this is the end.
It wants a conclusion.
This is the conclusion. But you don't want it. See the point there? Yeah. It's always offered. It's always this. It's always this. But when it's offered as always this, then there's this. Well, can I get something better than this though? Can I have, the parade and the funeral and the trumpets and the announcements? Buddha, can at least have Buddha, I'm saying, come and shake my hand and give me a certificate.
But is that just the energy of like knowing what's happening? Is that what that comes out of?
Well, it's not really knowing what's happening. It's the absence of what's happening. So what seems to be happening is this seeming fluctuation of this should be this, it could be that, other than this. So there's this movement. So when there's just this stillness, this is it. And then thinking goes, well, can't be it.
So is it just this sort of movement that wants to get like, I'm just wondering where that sort of wanting to change this and get somewhere else, is that?
It's just emptiness at play. It's like hiding, it's like it's not this, it's this, but it's also this. It's the play of duality when it's not dualistic. Okay. iPhone, please go ahead. Or Kane. Or that was the question. Okay. Oh, poor Forrest. It will take him an hour to get here, so he'll come tomorrow. Yeah. He just finished his exam, just literally, just, he just, and Jack is tired.
Anything.
What's that?
I said, he didn't miss anything.
He didn't miss anything at all. No.
But non-duality answer songs again.
True or false? There's no such thing as true or false.
So when you say like this is it, is it? It's not in the way we think what you're pointing to. Like this is fulfillment. Like this feels like fulfillment all the time. Like
Well, your idea of fulfillment is also it, but the idea and not the idea is always it. Does that make any sense? It doesn't matter what idea you have of it, it's always it.
so, you're kind of jumping over the whole game that the duality we're trying to play with.
I don't see duality. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You got it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's just directness, right? It's just directness. Why go through hoops and labyrinths and mazes and illusory, knowing and everything when it's always this? So emptiness is this, is this, is this, is this. It's in everything. It's always this. It's not like when you've attained this level, then when you reach that special place of emptiness, it's none of that. It's this. It's like a zap. You're like, oh, it's like when you jolt out, from a sleep and there's a clang. You're kind of like, what's going on? That's what this is. I wish Jack was here because Jack does that the best. So he explains it as like, you can like sleeping and then all of a sudden you can like, you don't know where you are and you just can like bolt out. You're like, what's going on? That's what's up. And I'm not trying to talk in riddles here. I'm not. There's no specialized knowledge here. It's actually trying to express it as simple as it can get by eliminating words. And that's why there's this simplicity makes it seem really complex because it doesn't need to be understood. It doesn't need to be processed. And the first thing that the seeker does in trying to get this is process what this is. And it becomes immediately not this. Although it's this. You see what's happening? It becomes not this. When I say it's always this.
It becomes a thing.
Yes. It becomes my version of what this is. The moment that the me enters into this idea of what this is, it becomes, I like what Casey, don't overthink this. Although there's no one choosing to do that. It's just what this is. I've stripped it down to this in my recent talks. If you've noticed, it's just this. We can go back and elaborate what this is tomorrow again if you like. Oh no. Just in case we had some problems with the internet here and my phone is in its final warning of gigabytes because we kind of like had to what do you call it, hotspot a phone. We'll get it fixed tomorrow. Sorry about that. Just in case it stops, we'll go longer tomorrow if you like. It's just what is. Oh, Sheer. Hi, Sheer.
Hello, man.
Hello, my friend. How are you?
Yeah, fine. What about you?
Oh, I'm excellent.
Excellent. I see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
I just want to say hi.
Hello, my friend. How are you doing? Nice to hear you.
What about your visit in Sweden?
I'll let you know soon. Hopefully soon. But I would love to see you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to see you. And then I would like to say I did talk with with Jim Newman, 1 hour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
but I really, I mean it. I
What's that?
don't know. I really
Don't need it.
don't remember what we did talk about it.
Because it's about nothing.
Yes, because it's just this feeling is there and there is no talk at all.
That's right. Yeah, it's just what is. That's what's being expressed. The this that does not really, it doesn't really require any effort or trying to figure out what this is.
Yes.
It's like what happened, 4 months on Tuesday ago. Nothing.
Tuesday is this.
It's this. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, my friend.
Have a nice time.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much, everyone. The internet is about to it will probably crap out soon because I used 40 gigabytes in the past. It's all right. Sorry about the but we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. I just have to make sure that the video gets processed because if it doesn't, then there'll be no recording. Thank you so much, everyone. See you guys tomorrow.
No worries.
Thank you.
Thanks, mate.
Thank
Take care.
you.
Love you, man.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, everyone here in the room. Thank you. We're going to eat soon. You guys want to come eat? We're going to eat some Indian food.
Thank you to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Emerson.
Thank you. Thank you. Sorry, there might not be a breakout room because the internet is dying. So tomorrow. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that, guys. I'll try to keep it on anyway until it dies. But bye-bye.
Much love.
Bye.
Much
Have
love.
fun.
See you
Bye-bye.
tomorrow. Bye.
Bye, Casey.